Is there any more pride at all that comes with knowing that this is your program's final ride as far as being an ACC-affiliated club?
I would say so. It's kind of tough for me because I've only been here for 2 years, So I've worked in the Big 12 for 4 and the Sun Belt for 6. And, the ACC is a special baseball conference, no doubt. And we definitely felt very good about the fact that we had arguably the best season in a long time at the school in its last year in the ACC. But I will tell you that really the players we have, the preparation we've put in, really has nothing to do with that. We're just trying to prepare our guys regardless of what conference we're in, get the best players, prepare them, keep them in a routine, and, keep them academically square and win as many games as we can win. And have success in the postseason. As far as conferences go, a coach really has no control over any of that stuff. We're just trying to do the best we can on the field.
John?
I apologize if you've announced this already, but can you talk about the pitching rotation and that you're going to go with this weekend and what kind of led to those decisions?
Yeah, we're going to just kind of stay the way we've been, to be honest. We've had a lot of success with Stinnett going out first for us on the weekend, and our freshman, Schwarn, has just been outstanding on the road as well. He's a very mentally tough guy, 10 wins as a freshman, beat on the road Florida State twice, North Carolina, Georgia Tech. He's fine. I'm not worried about it. He may go out and have a poor game regardless of who he's pitching against, but it won't be because of who he's pitching against, I can tell you that. I feel as good about our 1-2 guys as I've ever felt in my coaching career. But we want to try to stay as much on the same routine that we've been on, and I think that's why we've made that decision.
John, as the brackets kind of unfolded the other day, you probably had a good sense you were going to be in, but did you get a little antsy because Maryland doesn't have that NCAA tournament pedigree like maybe some other schools that maybe they'd find a way to kind of squeeze you guys out?
Well, that was a good question. I kind of felt that way going into Greensboro. And then our guys came out and did what they did against Virginia and Florida State in back-to-back days. It got our RPI to 23. And even after we had 2 subpar days against Carolina and Tech, we finished with a 25 RPI. We beat Florida State twice, Virginia, North Carolina. As much as the program in the past hasn't had that postseason pedigree, as you would say, I didn't think there was any way they could keep us out with a 25 RPI. Not to mention we won 11 of our last 13. The resume was, I've analyzed this for a long time as a college baseball person, and I just didn't see any way they could keep us out of that, and so, I wish it wouldn't have gone to the second to last regional, but, we kind of felt we were in pretty good shape, so.
We'll go with Rick and then Mike. Rick,
Although your team has played in some big-time venues, how concerned are you that this is an entirely new experience, competing in the playoffs and handling the pressure and the importance of the NCAA tournament?
I'm not as concerned as I would be if we hadn't gone through what we just went through. We've just played 4 days in a row: Virginia, Florida State, North Carolina, Georgia Tech. Now, I realize that the crowd and the atmosphere there isn't quite what it would be if you're playing Carolina at home in this ballpark. I absolutely understand that, but I do think that a fair amount of our guys handled the atmosphere there well. Other guys handled it just okay. But getting everyone in that atmosphere first before they came here, I think we're much more prepared to slow the game down and to be able to operate within that atmosphere. I think we're better off doing it now than we would have been if we hadn't just gone through that 4-game span in Greensboro. We still have to do it, obviously, but I feel pretty good about our guys being able to do that.
Coach, you mentioned winning 11 of the last 13. Does that momentum kind of give you guys confidence coming into this situation where it's, you got to win each day?
I think it gives us confidence, but the biggest thing with our group of guys is that they've been able to stay loose and relaxed and everything, and we try not to, I've tried to back off them a little bit and to try to have them enjoy what's going on here. They've been able to enjoy it off the field and kind of refocus themselves when it's and kind of flip the switch, so to speak, when it's been game time. So as long as they've shown that they've been able to do that, I've been just trying to keep things on the even keel and moving along at the same pace. You get in the postseason, and I think sometimes coaches will have a tendency to tighten up and kind of raise the heat a little bit. And with our group of guys, not a good idea to do that, just with the different personalities we have. It took me a little while to figure that out because we do have a mix here. We have a lot of older guys that, have been through a lot in their careers and just a smaller amount of guys that we recruited ourselves. So it just took us a while to get a good pulse on that mix, but I think now that we've gotten it over the month of May, we're about in as good a position as we could be right now, I think.
Go with Pete and then Neil.
John, is there any concern that because these guys have already accomplished a landmark feat in getting to the NCAA tournament, that they'll feel like they've accomplished something big and won't keep grinding on this path? I've
never gotten that sense from our guys. Like as a coaching staff, we've never ever said to them, hey, let's. I've never really set like an end goal and said, hey, our end goal is to win a game in a regional or to get to a regional or to get to the ACC. It's always been, let's work to get there and then let's look beyond it. So. Hopefully, and it's not just me, our whole coaching staff's done the same thing. So I'd like to think that, our guys, what they've shown me over the month of May is they want to keep playing. And as long as they keep showing that, then I think we have a pretty good chance to keep playing. There's good, every team in this regional is good. And I know you're playing a monster here in their own park. Everybody knows that. It's just a matter of going out and making pitches and playing defense. And they got to get you out 27 times just like you got to get them out 27 times, Same thing, man. So.
And, John, what's it say to you about the South Carolina program that they've won 27 straight NCAA tournament games at home dating back to 2002?
I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. Well, that'd be pretty cool to mess that up, huh? Yeah. Well, we got to win tomorrow to be able to get there. But they've been special over the years. I've known Coach Tanner since '07, and Chad and Sammy know those guys really well, and I know what they're doing here and how hard they work at things. And when you have great support behind you like they have here, it makes it a very tough place to come in and play at. So it's a very intimidating place. Like several places in the SEC are, but when you walk around and see all the stuff, the glimmer and glitz, which they've earned, and sometimes that can creep into guys' heads. It's just you have to at some point be able to put that aside and play the game, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You're either going to be good enough and win, or you're not going to be, and you're going to lose. And apparently, 27 straight times people have not been good enough and lost. So at some point or another, someone's got to break that. At some point, I don't know what point, but hopefully we're at that club.
I saw where you pronounce your last name, Szefc?
Yes.
Correctly?
Yeah.
What
Polish.
Is that what it is?
Heavy Polish, yeah.
And what are the best pronunciations you've heard over the years?
The two best ones when I was playing in the Atlantic Collegiate League back in the 80s, one PA guy called me Cheech. No, like when he announced my last name, another guy said I was Z-back. Yeah, it's pretty bad, yeah. I've lived with that for 46 years, yes. I'd rather just call myself Smith if I could, but easier to spell.
Last year, a lot of talk was made about Clemson coming in here and playing South Carolina, and everybody's kind of looking ahead to that matchup, and then the two teams never even met. Just how important is it to focus on the first game and make sure you win that one and not worry about all the South Carolina talk.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Chris Finwood's got a really good team. The guy's a very good coach. I've known him for a long time, since he was the head coach at Western Kentucky, and I was an assistant at Louisiana Lafayette. So he prepares his guys well. I mean, this is his 4th year, and he's got that thing turned around quickly. They're here for a reason, and if you even come close to looking by them, it's going to be a really disappointing day. And we won't do that. But you know, I would imagine, you know, there is a temptation by people to do that. You got to realize once you get on the field, the seeds don't mean anything. Outside of home and away, in the first game, they really don't mean anything. The numbers don't mean anything anymore. It's all about, you know, who has a good start, who can play good defense behind their guy, and who can get some timely hits. Really, that's what it comes down to.
John, I know ACC, SEC probably means more to the fans than other people, but from your perspective, to come in here to get sent to an SEC regional and have a chance to see how your team stacks up with an SEC power, what does that mean to you?
I think it's a lot, man. I love coming to SEC places in the NCAA tournament. That's where you want to come. They have in theory, in a lot of cases, they have the nicest ballparks. They have good teams. They have rabid fans. I mean, you want to put your guys in those atmospheres. And it's clear that over the years that many SEC programs have built, you know, really interesting places to play. So there's very few places I'd rather be than here. You know, not to mention it's within a drive, so a lot of our people can drive and watch us play. It's a lot easier than getting on planes, cheaper, you know. So what the committee did for us was very welcoming, I think, from our coaches and players, for sure.